I remember our very first conversation, you said like, yeah, we want to do it now in such an early stage because we want to attract new people. And in this way, we can make sure that we attract the right people, which is a perfect thing. But in these focus groups, I mean, it's a super, super interesting process, basically. You experience it, suddenly people start talking and suddenly this puts together a picture. And although all these perspectives are so highly individual, it somehow comes together and it creates this overall picture that you need to have about your company as an employer, basically. Such a nice topic. It's not about restructuring and saving money. It's actually about finding out who you are as an employer.
Yeah.
And that's what I always say. Like, you need to have a positive mindset and a positive attitude when it comes to this topic. Humanizing C-levels, actually, to make C-levels more approachable, like especially when we talk about these big firms, like, you know, when you see, I don't know, car producers and so on, like to kind of create a bigger, like to get nearer to understand companies more through certain kind of ambassadors.
If we look at the order journey, you need to have like a very potent algorithm who can decide what is the best place for fulfillment. And then you also have to enable those locations to fulfill the order actually. So it's not just about the routing and about the transparency of all those sources. It's also about enabling the locations to fulfill the order. The most complexity lies in the logistics network. I mentioned before that we want to combine all the resources. When you combine all those resources, you bring up a network where you can find billions of possibilities to fulfill an order. And now you have to decide, okay, what is the best fulfillment option for this specific order?
Also rethinking the standards again and again, and really to work in a partnership matter with the customers, to realize, okay, what are the issues and not what are the spoken issues. Also, what is the process behind and what could be challenges in the future.
That's what you should reference. You should reference when you're the founder and you're making your own due diligence, which I highly recommend. The founders check your network. They're trying to figure out who you've worked with, how did that go, and just to figure out also who am I going into partnership with. The same priority should be given to you. And if I was a founder, I would always ask, hey, tell me about a company where it worked really well. Tell me about a company where maybe it didn't work so well. Can you put me in touch with both of them? And or reach out directly. I mean, people will answer. Founders are very transparent with each other, so you should always reach out.
Do you think that technology is a tool that people use to satisfy a demand? And what we've seen from the basic customer or human needs, they tend to stay the same. People like convenience, people like comfort, people like experiences, but then how people fulfill those needs changes depending on the opportunities, the possibilities that they have. We're all human and we like interacting with each other. But I believe that there are positive interactions and then there are a little bit more stressful interactions depending on the circumstances and the part in the customer experience where you are. So what we try to do is we try to use technology to do the boring part or technology to do the part that's not enjoyable to have the people do what they love more.
But it turned out it was the most interesting stuff in that world because we have so much and so many data, different data, that it was easy to find analysts, big data engineers, all the people with that knowledge to work with us and for us and solving maybe not known problems yet. The retail industry as such has obviously data, but at the same time, there are only a few companies actually using that to the max. If they realize that AI, big data, helps them to make better decisions, and we can, from a marketing perspective, target our customers much better. If they enter a store, we can help them. You are looking probably for these and that, and you have bought these and that. Remember, all these little helpers could make a difference. And on the other side, for us as a retailer, having all that stuff on stock, having that not in our warehouses, but also in the stores, would also be very beneficial. When it comes to edge computing, all these things where AI is, there is a risk attached to that, because we are depending on the network, depending on even more components, which may be more complicated and more or less fail-safe than it is today. I doubt that AI will make people jobless. There will be other jobs. I think the challenge for most people is, like in my age, do I change my job again? Should I do something different? If it can be automated, it will be automated. So look for your benefit, and you might be even the person who trains the robot.
Yeah.
Not only a physical robot, but also an intelligent robot, and to some extent, and then move on.
And I don't think that there is one definition of agility that fits for all. So there are principles that have to be shown and have to be observable. But for every company, for every organization, for every situation, agility can look different. 10 years ago, I thought, okay, you have to have a Scrum Master, and if you don't have one, then you cannot do Scrum or be agile. And I think this is not the case.
Then it's sometimes not that easy to have everyone on board. So the communication, to be transparent to all the stakeholders, is one of the major challenges, I think. They are just focusing on the things they know already, the things they are experienced with, and if they are just writing it down, what they know, what they have, then they are somehow blind for potential optimization. And I think choosing a new solution is a major and a great chance to also be inspired by better, smarter solutions out there. And having a strict template which is just representing what is there today is somehow limiting the possibilities to be impressed, inspired, whatsoever, with new ways of handling things. One aspect of choosing a software and buying a software is looking to the future to participate about new features, about natural development of a software, which is not there if you build something on your own. Then you are responsible for implementing new features and so on. And being, first of all, open-minded, because just focusing what is already there, what is already known, is not a good option, because especially nowadays, things are developing so rapidly, so fast, that it's hard to just focusing on what is already there. So advice to companies would be open-minded, be flexible, to be, influenced and also inspired by new things,